Hello, everyone, and welcome to this month's Wild Wednesday webinar. I'm your host, Paul Kiewit. I'm the Executive Director of MIPA. The Wild Wednesday webinars are brought to you by several regional associations, including MIPA, OPA, TISPA, PPAW, UMAP, PPA Midwest, PPA Chicago, and the Arizona Promotional Professionals Association. Today's webinar is being recorded and will be available for on-demand re-listening on the MIPA website and on the MIPA Facebook page at the end of today's presentation. Today's presentation has been approved for 1 CAS credit. As you log off, you will be directed to a survey. If you complete your PIN number, I will be able to submit that to PPA to make sure that you get credit. Also, mark your calendars for next month, March 30. Our Wild Wednesday webinar is going to feature Kirby Hasselman. Kirby is going to be talking about putting the social into your media, and as many of you are aware, Kirby is a social media specialist and really has a lot to share with you. On the left side of your screen, you'll find a chat box. If anytime during Dale's presentation you would like to ask any questions, go ahead and type those in, and I will bring them to Dale's attention. Our presenter today is Dale Denham, MAS+. Dale is the IT guru for Geiger. He also serves on the PPAI Board of Directors and has been a leader in the industry for many years. His presentation today is improving your Outlook, and talks about all the ways to use Outlook to maximize your productivity. Looks like here comes the screen share. Dale, I'm going to turn it over to you.
All right. Well, I'm having a little bit of a challenge here. We rehearse these things and everything doesn't go as planned. It was working a minute ago and is not working now. So it's showing the wrong screen here. I'm going to try to get it to show the right screen here. Are you now seeing the improving your Outlook? Is that what's showing up? Paul, could you confirm to me what you're seeing on the screen?
Sorry, Dale, I had muted. We're seeing a partial of your screen.
It's the improving your Outlook?
Yeah. Now it's coming in. Now I'm seeing your
background
whole
picture.
And the background picture is coming up. Yep, there's your background picture.
All right. I think we got it figured out then. Okay. Sorry about that. Things never go quite as planned, but we just adjust and move on. So today, in fact, I'll just start with a funny story. The Improving Your Outlook session, I can't stop you from making mistakes. And yesterday, Paul and I went through a brief run-through, and at the end of it, he said, all right, I'll see you tomorrow. And I said, tomorrow? I thought this session was for Thursday. That's what I had on my calendar. And Paul said, no, it's tomorrow. That's why it's called Wild Wednesday webinars. And so I ended up being double booked. So I managed to move or cancel out of my other meeting that's going on right now. But today in Improving Your Outlook, I cannot prevent you from booking yourself in two places at the same time. But I can help you with a bunch of other things with Outlook, and that's going to be my goal today. Because we all spend more time in Outlook than just about anything else where we spend our time on a daily basis if you use Outlook. And most of us have never been trained, or if we've been trained, it may have only been once and by somebody who told us just a little bit. So we never stop. We never say, hey, what are we going to do? How do I do another thing? And so kudos to everybody here to be on today. I'm going to give you a lot of tips, about 10, and some of those are going to be easy and some of those are going to be hard. And so what we're going to do is we're going to start slow. And the first thing I want to do is point out to you that I am going to be using Outlook 2016, which is now called Office 365, and it's the most current version of Office 365. This is what I'll be using today. Most everything that I show today works on Office 2013 and works on Office 2010 as well. I highly recommend you upgrade to Office 365 for a number of different reasons. I've done a whole blog on why, but essentially you get 5 installs of Outlook, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, So you can install on your computer, your laptop, your kid's computer, your mom's computer, your sister's computer. You also get 1 terabyte of online storage per person. So if you're paying for Dropbox, you also basically get Outlook for free if you pay that $99 a year and you no longer pay for Dropbox. Most of the features I will show you today will work on your Mac Outlook as well, but I'm going to be showing Windows. So if you want to buy Microsoft Office for $99 a year, the easiest place is to go to office.com and buy it there and buy the home version for $99 a year. The other thing I'll tell you that we won't be covering a lot of today, but if you have an Android or iPhone or iPad or Windows phone, Outlook has an app that is really, really good. So whether you use the Outlook client on your Windows or Mac computer, this is probably the best email app out there. I like it better than any of the built-in apps or any of the paid apps, and it is free. It's just called the Outlook app, and it looks like that little icon that you see in the middle of the screen that's blue, or the middle of the iPhone screen there. I encourage you to download that app. It can read in your Office account, your Exchange account, your Gmail account, your iCloud, your Yahoo, whatever you have for email, it can read it in there. We are seeing some people say they're only seeing a partial screen. So, Don, what screen are you seeing? Because are you seeing the PowerPoint or are you seeing an email screen? I want to make sure we get this right. Sorry for these problems, everybody. So you are seeing the PowerPoint, but it's not all of it. I'm confused why. Let me try one other thing. Maybe if I lower my resolution real quick. I'm going to make some of the rest of the demo hard. See if we can make this work. Can you all see the entire screen now? Let's see. That's worse. Okay. All right, I'm going to do one more thing. Paul, I think I hear you typing in the background, so you may have unmuted yourself.
I've brought up live chat. See if I can get tech support from any meeting on here.
All right, thank you. Sorry about this, everybody. I'm going to change the resolution one more time and see if that makes it better. And that's too big. All right. Centered but huge. All right, I have one more idea of what I can do. All right. Sorry, everyone. We're going to try one more thing. Okay. Now, what are you seeing right now on my screen? Are you seeing my background or are you seeing the PowerPoint?
Right now we're seeing your home screen.
This is bizarre. Just bizarre. Let me see. I'm going to try one more time with sharing my monitor again. Now I'm sharing the calendar. Do you guys see the calendar okay?
It's also showing very large.
Too large. It makes no sense to me at all.
Yeah. It was perfect yesterday.
Yes. Let me try one other thing. I'm going to do this. How does that look?
I saw no change. Still large. Seeing the small calendar for February 2016 and February 22 through 26 was just what was showing the rest.
I have no idea what's going on here. Like you said, we did this yesterday, and it worked fine. I'm going to give it one more try here. So what are you seeing on my screen now?
At the moment, we're seeing our Wild Wednesday webinar background, but it's out of focus.
I don't know why that's what you're seeing, because I'm not even sharing that.
I know that's now your screen came up.
Is it the kids or the PowerPoint?
Got the kids with the PowerPoint in front of it.
Oh, okay.
And it's
How about now? Are you seeing PowerPoint?
Now we're seeing the PowerPoint at regular resolution.
And the way we want to see it?
It's showing the upcoming slides on the left side. So yep. It's not like in presentation mode.
How about that?
Perfect.
Oh, hallelujah. We got there.
We got it. All right.
All right. Sorry about that, everyone. All right. So next session will be on how to use the software to make presentations on webinars and how to troubleshoot live with people online. So we're going to go through the fundamental tips. Everybody can handle these. The intermediate tips, this is for people who want to do a little bit more. And if you're really feeling smart and you really want power, you're going to want to do the advanced. So for those of you who get a little worried, you want to drop off at the end, I won't be offended. Up to that point, I think everybody should be able to do most of the different things we're going to cover. So that's how we're going to go through it. I am going to provide live demonstration of most tips, and so we will show a quick screenshot, and then I'll show you how to do it live as well. So with that in mind, I'm going to keep going. And the first tips, I'm going to show you 3 in a row, and then we're going to go into each one individually. One is just show you how to adjust the view on your email as well as your calendar. Some people don't realize how easy that is to do. There's also something called a quick access toolbar, and there's a few simple settings that everybody should change. So the first thing is changing your view is located on your view tab, and all of these slides are available online, and I'll show that again at the end, as well as this is being recorded. And there's 3 places that most people need to pay attention, and I'm not going to cover everything. These are power tips. There's a lot of other things you can do. But the first is to use or not use the reading pane and change the location of it. The second is the to-do bar. And the third is the message preview. This works for email as well as for your calendar, and we're going to go over that. And then I'm going to just make sure you know how to show or not show the ribbon. So the first thing I'm going to do is flip over to my email. And Paul, I'm going to ask you, if you cannot see my email, that you let me know. Well, let's see, that's my calendar. So everyone should see my email now. Right here, I want to go in this email. So in my email, I may want to have a different view, so I go up to the View tab, and when I click the View tab, my ribbon changes. This is called your ribbon here. And if you don't see your ribbon, it might look like this. So now you don't see a ribbon, but you still see the View tab, and that will then bring your ribbon up to look like that. If you don't see it, the way to get it back, besides clicking the word View, would be to click this icon here, which is just to the left of the negative sign, and choose to show tabs and commands or auto hide the ribbon. I leave mine on to show tabs and commands, and it stays up there for me at all times. So the first thing I want to do is I want to preview these messages, and you can see over here I actually have a preview on my right-hand side. This Mimecast is a spam filtering software we use at Geiger, and I want to preview that so it's on. But if I don't want to preview it, if I don't want to preview it I can turn that off. So this is the reading pane. I've now got a larger screen of messages, and I've been using the wrong term. This is really the reading pane over there, so I don't have to open the email. So I turned that off, or I could turn it on the bottom. So now it's at the bottom, and I have large at top. I like mine on the right. I'm going to keep it on the right, but you might want it off. And if you want it off, sometimes you want a message preview, in which case I can turn this on and allow for 1 or 2 or 3 lines to see what the first message is. Now, I find that confusing. I don't like that feature. Some people really do. They can glance at that and they can read quicker. For me, I prefer no message preview, but if you wanted even just 1 line, you could change it to just 1 line. It's a little less confusing. For me, I want it off completely, and I like to have my reading pane turned on over to the right side. So every time I click any one of these things, I get to see the message on the right-hand side. The other thing is I'm going to turn the reading pane off just for a minute to show you that you can also have a to-do bar, which for me is the calendar over here, but you can also have it for people or tasks that you have going on. So this is my to-dos for today, my calendar activity for today. That can always be available to you. I tend to keep mine off as I have my calendar open on my second screen. So those are the ways that you can change your views, the reading pane, the to-do, the preview. Now let me just quickly go into the calendar view. Sorry, come on. I'm going to switch into my calendar view. And in the calendar view, you have the same option if you go to the View tab. And a lot of people don't realize this. I can have my to-do bar on, so you can have the calendar over here with the daily activities. You can also look at just the work week, or you could look at the whole week, which is Saturday and Sunday, or you can look at the month, or you can look at your schedule view, so you can see how busy you are in specific times and days. I tend to focus mostly on the work week. That lets me see everything going on in a week. And what you can see over here is I have multiple calendars, and if I were to show you my full calendar, that's what my real calendar looks like. This is my backup calendar that I use for additional meetings like this. So I can turn off my to-do bar, but I could also have the reading pane on, just like I can in email. So if I click an activity, I can see what the activity is without having to open the calendar event itself. And I can make that a little smaller and adjust my view. Really powerful way to just make your calendar more productive for you. And that again is on the View tab. You can play with all of these things however you're comfortable, whatever you want to do. I tend to leave most things off. This is the view that I tend to work with right here. So that's the calendar view, and I'm going to go back to the presentation. If I confuse you on anything, you're welcome to send a chat. I'll try to stop as appropriate, but I am trying to keep us generally on time to leave a little question and answer at the end as well. I know some people have asked about the free app for Apple again, so I'll just point out it's called Outlook. If you search in the App Store, whether it's Android or Apple, you can just search for the word Outlook, and you want to look for the Outlook icon that looks like this right here. Okay, the next thing is the Quick Access Toolbar, and this is awesome. And the fact that most people don't use this drives me nuts because it is so powerful. So again, I'm going to open up my calendar, and this is the Quick Access Toolbar up here, but I'm going to show you in my email. So I can quickly send a new email just by clicking here. Now you say, well, yeah, but you can also click email right here. But if I'm on my View tab, that's no longer there. My Quick Access Toolbar is always there. I want to create a new appointment, I can click here. I want to print an email, I can click here. I want to delete an email, I can click here. Or if I want to reply to an email, I can click here. And this is called a quick step, which I'm going to show you more about later, of what you can do with quick steps. But so if I want to just delete any particular email, I can just click it and click delete. I'm not on that tab. I don't have to worry about being on that tab. If I'm at the home, I can see those same things, but maybe I just want to hit print. I can't remember where the print icon is. I don't want it to go to file print. I just hit print, and it comes up and lets me print that. Okay. Just a quick check-in. If anybody has any questions, shoot over via chat. That's called the Quick Access Toolbar. To customize it, you click the drop down here, And if I don't need the send and receive all folders, which is this icon here, I can uncheck that and it goes away. Or if I want the forward icon or the reply all icon to be added, I can check here. Now I have a reply all icon. If I want to move those around, I can go into more commands, and I can move these commands by moving them up and down. So that's called the Quick Access Toolbar. And if there's no questions on that, I'm going to keep moving on. So I showed you how to customize it and showed you that it's always available. And some simple settings everybody should take a moment to go into Outlook to change. The first one, the way to get in there is File Options. And the three that I want to show you is always check spelling, turn off all your notifications, and do not use stationery. Let's go in and take a look at each of these. So first, File, Options. Again, I went to File, Options, and you may have a different way to get in there if you're using an old version. But in here, I click the word Mail, and always check spelling before sending. I have on. Stationery, I do not have on. I have no background, nothing. That's where you would change your fonts. I highly encourage you to have no stationery. It was really cool in the 90s. It's not so cool today. And the last thing is one that a lot of people struggle with. I have no notifications when email comes in. I'm going to read email when I want to read email on my schedule. And if I'm in the middle of a project and I'm getting notified, I can't get things done. So I leave my email notifications off, and that's where you turn them off, is under File Options, Mail. Make sure these are all unchecked. Now, I still see I have emails up here that I need to read if I want to read them, so that's how I can go in and look at those. There's other settings in here, including settings for your calendar if you want to change those. I'm not going to go through all those, but they're all worth taking a quick look at and seeing if it helps you be more productive. So that's how you change those three settings. Again, very simple, very easy to use.
You do have one question about the options bar in the chat box.
I can't quite see what the question is. It says I don't have any options passed, and then I can't see the bottom of that. Can you tell me what?
Because I don't have any options past view to add the toolbar.
The Quick Access Toolbar, I guess, is what we must be talking about. For some reason, the resolution is not showing properly for me.
Yeah, Vicki, she has replied
no
yes.
No options past you to add the toolbar. So let's just pop over there and see. So under View, you won't have anything, but up here there should be a little customized Quick Access Toolbar. If you're not using 2010 or higher, that's not going to be there. So perhaps you're on an old version, but it should be above the word File. There's automatically a Quick Access Toolbar. Does that answer your question, Vicki? And I'm just going to make sure there's not some, oh, there is a Quick Access Toolbar, but it's always on as far as I know. I don't think there's any way to turn it off. You can hide everything off there, but that's where you get to the Quick Access Toolbar. So it's above the word View. So hopefully that helps you, Vicki. I'm going to try to move this to the other screen again and see if I can keep it working. So, okay. So we're going to go into the reference folder, the searching toolbar, creating a group, creating quick appointments, and quick parts. So this first one is still pretty easy. If you look at my folder systems, you'll see that I still have folders, but the folder I use the most is a folder called @reference. And the reason I use the @ is so it shows up at the top of my folders. And, you know, we don't like to delete emails. We think, oh, I might need that someday, so it sits in our inbox, or we create a very complicated folder structure. By having the @reference and storing anything and everything you want in there that's just kind of miscellaneous, it makes it very easy to search for later and find those. So right-click your inbox, choose New Folder. name it @reference or whatever you want to. And when an email comes in, you can then store it there and search for it, and I'm going to show you how to search for it later. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and create that folder. So right-click, new folder. I'm going to call it @reference, and again, this is my demo mailbox here. So that's @reference. And now I may take these emails and I may say, oh, I want to keep those emails. I'm just going to drag them into reference. And maybe I want to keep this one and I just drag it over there and it's still there. So now if I ever need to go back in and go, I'm looking for that email, I just pop in that reference folder. Even though it's from multiple people about multiple different things, that's how I would save it. So the @reference folder, all I did was right-click here, choose new folder. I called it @reference. I'll call it @reference2 this time. My keyboard will work. It's not for some reason. Boy, I am having a heck of a day here, and my keyboard has just stopped working. There we go. New folder, @reference2. And that created the @reference. Nothing's in there. I can take emails, drag them, and put them in there. So that's very good because then you want to search for something later, and I'm going to show you how to do that now. So the search became more powerful in 2010 and is really, really powerful, and I want to show you, and I really want everybody to pay attention to this, because if you're not using it to its fullest, you're missing out on the opportunity. So again, this email that you're viewing of my screen is mostly what I consider junk emails that I put in here. So I want to search the current mailbox for anything with the word Slack, and I get all these different things that have the word Slack right away. But really, I only want it if the word Slack shows up in the subject, so I highlighted the word Slack, put it in the subject, and now that'll only put things where the word was in the subject. But now I only want it for things that have been here from this week. And now it's getting a little more complicated, so it's taking a little bit longer. Let's try this month and see if I have anything. So there are things with the word Slack in the subject, received this month. And if I want to say, well, this whole year, I can do that as well. And I can do other sorts of things. So let's just pop in a different search. Let's look for the word Gene. I've got everything. You can see I've got the word generation here, but I don't want generation. I just want Gene. So I put a space after it. Oops, and it brought up the Gene Geiger. And I'm going to highlight the word Gene. I'm going to say from, and now I'm only getting things where the word Gene is coming up. If I want anything from PPAI, I can go in here and say anything with PPAI, but I only want it if the subject is PPAI. And now I may only want it with the subject has attachments as well. And I'm getting all of that from this search bar. So the question that just came up is, hey, I can't find the search. My search for me is right here above the current mailbox. It's where it's built in. If you don't see that, you should have a search tab up here, but it really should be right here. That's where you should see it. And if I type that in, I should be able to type in the name Weaver and to get everything with the word Weaver. So good. Glad you got it, Lorraine. Thank you. So,
Dale, there was a previous question about saving side folders. Is it possible to ever save these side folders into hard drive?
So if I wanted to save everything in here into a hard drive, I could do I suppose a save attachments, but no, these folders, there's no auto export that I know of to export these folders out. So I think the answer to that is no. You'd have to do them one at a time. So the search, I just want to reiterate, super, super powerful. Type in any word that you want. If you highlight the word, you can then make it something that's the subject. Or I could say PPAI, and I could highlight it and make it the word from. So anywhere PPAI is in the from, and it comes in. So that's the way you use the search. Really easy. Maybe you only want it to be for this week. Maybe you want it to be last year. Maybe you only want it today. That's the search. Really powerful. Highly recommend that you use the searching toolbar. Very fast. The things I use most are the from, the subject, the attachments, as well as the time. Sometimes I just want anything from a client. I still do have the option of storing things in folders, but mostly I use less folders now than I used to. Now, Nancy asked the question, her search options are grayed out. Let me show you why your search options are grayed out. If I'm here, there's no search because I'm not in a search. I have to actually click in the word search for the searching option to come up. So you should be able to type in anything, and those options should be no longer grayed out. Somebody mentioned if you archive emails, it doesn't take up space. That's true. Just as a side note, depending on who your email provider is, Microsoft, as part of that $99 a month, provides you emails, and you are then able to let them archive it and such. So I highly recommend you look into the Microsoft email plans. But yes, if you archive them, it doesn't take up space on your email server, but it does still take up space on your hard drive. Nancy, as far as to why the piece is gray, I don't know. Maybe you can follow up with me afterwards, and I'll see what I can do to help you or have somebody help you. Okay, so that's the searching toolbar. Now, this happens a lot. You're working with people, and you need to email 2 or 3 or 4, and you can't remember all the time who those people are. So the first thing you do is open the people view, which is this, and it got a little distorted here. Then click on New Contact, and then add the people. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So the people view is this little people icon down here. So I'm going to go into the people view, and I'm going to go up here and create new contact group, or create new group. New contact group, sorry. And it popped open on my other screen. That's why I was having the problem. Okay. So now I want to add members to the group, and I'm going to make it from my Outlook contacts, and I'm going to find Paul. Let's do, I guess I have you stored somewhere else. So I'll do Paul DeMarco, and I'll do Norm Hollinger, and I'll do Kyle Richardson, and Lori Bauer. So I've got all those people, and now I just call this demo group, and I save and close the group. And now if I ever go to an email and I start typing in, it opened on my other screen again as well. Let me do that. If I type in demo, there it is, demo group. And if I were to expand that, it shows me all the people who are in that list. But if I just keep it demo group, it's there. I can see who they are by double-clicking it. That's called the group. So again, I'm going to repeat those steps for you one more time. I go to the people, click people, new contact group, type in the names of the people you want to add. Oops, sorry, we'll call this demo 2. Now we add members. And let me do all address books. We have multiple address books. There we go. That's what I was looking for. And so I got Christine Shea, and I'll do Sherry. Click that. That's called Demo 2. Save and close. And now I have another group called Demo 2. If I want to delete those, I just highlight them and delete them, or use the delete button. Very powerful, easy way. Most people don't know about how to do that. It's really useful, and then you can keep them up to date in there as well. Create appointments. This is a fun one. This happens a lot. So I'm going to show you how to have both your email and your calendar view open in the same screen. I'm going to show you how to do that. And then I'm going to show you how to drag an email onto your calendar. So the first thing I'm going to do is bring up my email. And then I want to open the calendar by right-clicking the calendar icon and choosing Open in New Window. Now I'm going to show you a little trick. Oh, it's not working because of my screen problems today. There we go. So now you should see my email on the left side of my screen and the calendar on the right side of my screen. If that's not what you see, send me a chat. And if I want to make an appointment, I just drag this over to wherever on the time I want it. So I want to make it for Friday at 9 a.m. I drop it there. And again, it opened to my other screen. But it automatically created with an email a calendar event at 9 a.m. on Friday. So I'll go ahead and save that, and you'll see it show up on my calendar. And I'll just do that again. I'm just going to drag it, but this time I'll drag it to today at 2 p.m. and drop it. And there it says same thing, save and close. So the question is, how did I do this? How did I get these screens to go this way? The way I did that, I'm going to show you, and I'm going to come back and do this again, is your bonus tip today. If you have your Windows key and you press that and you pressed either the left or the right arrow, you will see what I saw when I did this. So if the screen is here, full screen, I'm holding the Windows key. I'm now pressing the right arrow key. It moved it to the right side of my screen. Usually because I had the PowerPoint open, it didn't do it. It will also come up and give me the option of what do you want on the left side of your screen. So I'll just flip these around. So you can see now it says, hey, what do you want to put on the left side of your screen? And now I'll put the calendar on my left side of the screen by clicking it. And so now I can just drag and drop this way. So that's your bonus tip of the day. Not really an Outlook tip. That's a Microsoft Windows tip. Windows key and left or right arrow will do that for you. So you want to open them. I have mine with two screens, so my calendar stays up on one screen all the time, and my email is working on the other. But I drag and drop, and that's how I create a quick appointment. Okay, so now we're going to get into the three more complicated pieces, and this is a lot more challenging and a little more difficult to understand. So if you're half paying attention to me, now is a good time to either drop off or pay a little more attention, because you will get confused if you're checking emails and doing other things at this point. So the first thing is something called a quick part. And I don't use these a lot, but people who use it love it. And the quick part is the easiest way to use the same thing over and over. And I'm sorry the graphic overlapped a little bit here. In fact, that's going to drive me nuts, so let me just fix that real quick. There we go. So to do this, you go to the Insert tab, and I'll show you again how to do this. You go to the Insert tab, and then you highlight the phrase or the paragraph you want to reuse, and you save it to the Quick Parts gallery. It's relatively easy to do this, but it's more a matter of when am I going to use it that becomes the question for most people. So I'm going to open up my email again, and I'm going to create a new email, and I'm going to say Wild Webinar is Wednesday, not Thursday, and even if you double check your technology, stuff will happen. Oh well. All right, so now I'm going to highlight all of that, and I'm going to go to my Insert, and I'm going to do, under the word Quick Parts, I'm going to save the selection to the Quick Part gallery. I'm going to call it Wild Webinar. And I'm going to do one more. I'm just going to say, this is example 2. I can type whatever. Visit me at www.geiger.com. View this presentation at www.slideshare.net/therealdale.Denham. By the way, that's a real link you can get this at. So I'm going to highlight that, choose Quick Parts, save selection to Quick Part Gallery, call it example 2. And now, the next time I go to send an email, if I go into Insert, when I'm down here, not when I'm up here, it won't be available when I'm up here, I have to be down here. I click Quick Parts, and there's all my different Quick Parts. So I have one that I set up as an example. Check out my new website at Geiger.com. So if you want to throw that in on a regular basis, you can do that. Or I can say all my presentations are available at slideshare.net/therealdale.Denham. Or I can have a more complicated one, which you saw me type in, And so you get to things you find yourself typing multiple times, use these quick parts, and you can use them. And instead of a signature, which is put on every email or every reply or every new email, this you can just put right into specific presentations. So if you have a standard disclaimer that you use on certain emails but not on others, that's where the quick parts becomes really, really valuable. So just one more time, to create a quick part, start a new email, type whatever you want, fonts to, quick parts, save selection. Now the next time I have an email, I hit quick parts, and there it is because I only had the word fonts to highlighted when I saved the quick part. Somebody just made a comment to me, a chat that said this works great for proofs, so they really liked that. So hopefully the other people have other ideas as well that work for you, but that is called quick parts. Really not that complicated to do. It's more just a matter of how will you use it, and that's why it's complicated, is finding that use for you. Okay, so next is creating a quick step, and this one is more complicated, but once again, incredibly powerful. And I'm going to show you two different things. The most things that I use this for are filing. So I have several direct reports. On my screen you see two, one's named Mike and one name's Jen. And even though I have the @reference folder, I tend to file their emails from my direct reports in specific folders. Same thing with if it's a PPAI activity, I file it into PPAI. I don't file it into PPAI board versus PPAI committee versus all the other things because I can use searching to deal with that. So to create a quick step, you find the message you want to work with first, and then choose New Quick Step. And I'm going to show you how to do that right here. So we want every email from PPAI, Promotional Products Networking Group. Whenever that comes out, I'm going to do a New Quick Step at the top of the screen. Again, everybody, you can look at my mouse, home, send, receive. You won't have Mimecast, but just a little to the middle, there's something called Quick Steps in the middle of your ribbon. Or I can right-click and choose Quick Steps, create New Quick Step. I'm going to just go ahead and do it up here because I think it's a little easier for most people. So the first thing I'm going to do is New Quick Step. I'm going to say, you know what? I want this Quick Step to be a move to folder. And I'm going to call this PPAI Quick Step Demo. And for the folder, I'm going to go ahead and move it to, I'm going to choose Other Folder. I'm going to choose the right inbox here. I'm going to choose Inbox and say New, and I'm going to call this the PPAI Demo. PPAI Demo. And now it's also giving me the option to mark it as read, and I'll show you why that's useful. And if I want to go change options, I can, but for now I'm just going to stop here and show you that if I have this email here and it's unread, why aren't you marking as unread? I don't know why it's not marking as unread, but it should have been. Let's try it one more time. It's not. How about mark this one as unread? Okay, well, for some reason it's not. We'll take this one and use this as an example. So I now have a folder called PPAI Demo. Sure, I can drag this into the PPAI Demo, no big deal. When I do, it's still marked as unread. Or what if I'm on a folder up here and I got to scroll down to find that? Well, I can just take this, click this PPAI Quick Step, and it says it can't be found. I'm not sure why. This is bizarre. We'll take a newer email. So I'll take this one and see if it works. There we go. So let's take this email right here, and there's PPAI Demo. It's marked as, it's still showing as unread. If I put in there, it's still going to show as unread. But if I take this one and use the PPAI Quick Step, instead of making the PPAI Demo number 3, it's only going to show 2, because when it moved it there, it also marked it as read. So you can see those were marked as read. I could also highlight a group of emails and choose PPAI Quick Step, and it marks them all as read and moves them all in there. Another quick step you can do is maybe you want to make a quick appointment. So similar, if you don't like the dragging and dropping, you can do a new meeting. So you have a new meeting quick step. Actually, I'm sorry, it's a new appointment. You do a meeting, it sends something else. So I'm doing a brand new one, and I'm going to scroll down, and I'm going to say, create an appointment with text of message. And I can do something else. After I do it, I can then move it to a folder, and I can move it to reference. So now I'll take this, and I'll say create an appointment, and it's just created an appointment for me, and I can change the time and do whatever I want. That will show up on my calendar, and if I go into that reference folder that was created, there's that email. So that's a quick step for you. If you want to go change any quick steps, you can manage those quick steps, and you can find the one PPA quick step demo, hit edit, and you can add multiple actions and take all sorts of different actions. So you can reply all, you can forward. Wherever you're doing things on a regular basis, you can automate those tasks. The beauty of a quick step is you have to trigger it. So when you don't always want it to happen, you use quick steps. When you want it to always happen, you use rules, and we'll talk about rules. But before I get into rules, let me just point out, to make a quick step work, you can just highlight an email, and either once you've highlighted it, you can move it by clicking the button here. You can right-click here and choose quick steps and pick the quick step that you want. Those are the multiple ways. Or you can actually create in your quick access toolbar, which is what I did, access to your quick steps so they're always there for you wherever you go. Really, really powerful, useful is quick steps. And then the last tip I want to give you is going to be rules. And I'm going to start with telling you that junk email is one of the best rules that you can have. So if you're getting a lot of email from Slack, and I'm not going to use that one, let's use Quip. If I get a lot from Quip, I can right-click that and mark it as junk. And when I mark it as junk, it will from that point on block that sender and put all their emails into a folder called junk email. So I have all this email down here that's junk email, and if I try to open any of this junk email, it looks really junky because it's blocking it because it's not sure it's safe. Now, I'm still able to look at the junk email. So if I think I might want to look at email in the future, junk email is a way to keep it out of my inbox, but keep it in my junk folder. So that's junk email. It's really, really worth using. In some cases, it's as good as unsubscribing. So if you don't feel like unsubscribing, just mark as junk. But sometimes, let's take the flyers we all get and the special offers from suppliers. You may want those. So we can create rules, but rules are very powerful, and usually things that are very powerful are very complicated. And you have to remember that rules run all the time. If they meet the criteria, they are going to run. So 3 rules that I use, and I'll show you these rules. The first one is I delay every email that I send for 1 minute. So if I send you an email, it sits in my outbox for 1 minute in case I went, oh, crud, I didn't want to send that email. Number 2 is I may want to filter email that I want to review, like supplier flyers, but not now. So I'll show you how to set up that. And then the third one I won't show you today, but I have a rule that if I get blind copied on something, it highlights it in green. And the reason I do that is I've occasionally replied all or even replied, and I was blind copied, and that was not a good idea because the people didn't know I was copied on it. So this highlights it and lets me know if I've been blind copied on an email. So how do you create rules? So you open an email and you click the rules button in the ribbon, and you choose to always move messages from that person into a folder, and we're going to create one called Read Later, and everything you do from that point on for that sender will show up, and I'm going to show you how to do that now. So these Slack messages, I got a lot of Slack messages in here. I'm going to choose rules, and I'm going to have one that says, always move messages from feedback@slack.com. And then it's going to come and say, where do you want to move them to? And again, I'm going to create a new folder just for as an example's sake today, and we'll call it Demo Read Later. And that's how easy it is from now on. It's running all the rules, so these Slack messages are now all going to automatically show up. But this one didn't go, and I'll show you why. So here's the demo read later. It only found a few, but all of these were now automatically moved. From now on, I will not receive an email in my inbox. They will all show up over here, and until I read them, there'll be a number 1 by it. Now, the reason it didn't get these other Slacks is because if you open the email, it's no reply at slack.com. So I have to go in and look at my rule and say, I want to manage this Slack rule, and I want to edit it or change the rule, and I'm going to edit the rule settings. So you can see in here it's from people, and it says feedback at slack.com. So I'm going to change that to with specific words in the sender's address, and I'm going to click that, and I'm going to say the word Slack. So anytime the word Slack shows up in the address, or I might want to put slack.com instead. We'll get rid of that because that might throw some things off. So I'll hit next. Now it says, I don't want you to process any more rules. I just want you to move it to the specified, which in this case is the read more folder. And I could also have it do other things like reply with a specific template or whatever. I'm not going to do that. I could say except if it's marked as importance of high, in which case it would keep it. So I'm going to finish that. Now I'm going to go back and run that rule and show you those other Slack messages will go away. So I'm going to manage this. I'm going to choose that one, and I'm going to say run rules now. I just want to run the Slack, run it, and they all went away as well. So it's now processing the rest of those. This works really well for supplier flyers and supplier emails. So that's the rule. I'm going to show you my favorite rule, and we're going to create this rule from scratch. So I go up to Rules, and I create a rule, and I'm going to say Advanced Options right off the bat. So I'm going to scroll down, and it's going to say Apply this rule after the message arrives, and I'm going to say Next, and it's going to warn me, hey, this rule is going to apply on every message you send. Is that correct? Is that really what you want to do? Every single one? And the answer is yes. And then I'm going to scroll to the bottom. And there's a delay. Where is it? They moved it. It used to be at the bottom. Move it. Where? Well, this is interesting. It was here before. Huh. It does not allow me to do my favorite rule anymore, but I have it set up on my other one. So I'm going to have to show you the rule in my main email box real quick and see why that's gone. So I have the delay send, and I'm going to go under the change this rule. And you can see I have a defer delivery option here by 1 minute. And I'm not sure why it's not showing up on that other account, so I have to look into that. But I follow the same steps to do this, and then I hit next. And then I can give exceptions, except if it's in a category or something like that. Long story short, sorry about the mistake there. I should have tested that on this account. I'm not sure why it's gone now. But rules in general are very powerful. They apply, though, to every email you send or receive. So you decide what the criteria is, as opposed to quick steps allow you to trigger it on your own. So those are rules, very powerful rules. So again, all this is available on slideshare.net/therealdaledenham, as well as the video recording of this. With that, I'm going to see if there's any questions. So if you have any questions, you can chat them. And Paul, I'm going to ask you for your help. If anybody wants me to cover anything else, otherwise we've got about 5. We're going to end up about 5 minutes early. So questions? Send them via chat if you have them. Paul, do you have anything else you want me to cover?
I thought that was terrific information. As a Mac user, you almost made me a Windows convert. Great stuff. Anyone have any questions? You can enter them in the chat box, or you can try to *6 and unmute yourself. I have a question. Can you use? You got it. Okay.
Can you use the Outlook calendar in the Outlook app? Yes, the Outlook app will sync with the Outlook app on your iPhone will sync with your Outlook calendar. Yes. So if you download the app on the iPhone, Apple Store or Google Play Store, that calendar is available to you in the app as well as on your desktop. Good question, Jesse. Thank you. The next one is Outlook 2016 is known problems with search. Are you aware of this and how to fix? I use Outlook 2016 all the time. I have no problems with search, Nancy. So whatever problems there are, I'm not sure what they are. So I don't know how to fix them because I'm not running into them. So if you want to follow up with me later and tell me what your problems you were having, let me know and maybe I can help you out with that. It looks like that's all the questions, Paul. Oh, wait, there's two more coming in. If you have two calendars on your phone or on Outlook, but only one shows on your phone, that just means you have to set up an additional account. Whoever your technical support person is, you want to reach out to them and say, I need to set up both calendars on my phone. It's something very easy to do for somebody who knows your information. You just have to tell them, show them on your desktop what the two calendars are. And then, Paul, I'll let you answer the last one, and then I think we can wrap it up.
Yes, generally it takes about an hour or two before I get the recording back from our platform, anymeeting.com. When we do, I publish it to MIPA's Facebook page and to MIPA's Wild Wednesday webinar web page. However, if you send me your email, I'll be happy to send a copy directly to you. Well, thank you everyone for attending today's webinar. And Dale, thank you very much for sharing your information. That's really terrific. And for everyone, his slide deck is up on that slideshare.net, the real Dale Denham. And you can get that there. You can get the recording, as I mentioned, from me. And stay tuned next month, March 30, for Kirby Hasselman, putting the social into your media. Dale, thank you very much. And everyone, thank you for attending. We'll see you next month.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everyone.